Okay, great. We're recording now, so can we start by first agreeing that we'll make this video public with a thumbs up or a verbal yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Awesome. First, let me just thank you both. I know that, there's so much going on right now and so much, falling under the guise of the or the purview of the business team. And I know there's just two of you now. And I know it's, tough sometimes to keep all the balls in the air. And I think you guys are doing a good job. And I just wanted to, thank you for, all that you have been doing. And as an organization, yeah, absolutely. Let's definitely give a round of applause to both of you, to Tatiana, Isatu. Thank you guys. We're doing it. You guys are doing it. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys holding it down. In that vein, I want to start by actually, normally I would have a private conversation with both of you about this, but we didn't get a chance to, and certainly we can afterwards if you want to have a conversation afterwards. But I want to, because Tatiana, you were having the opportunity to co-lead with James before, and now James is gone, and you had wanted to kind of co-lead, and also our hours are pretty limited, and there's just two of us. And Isatu, I really appreciated the way that you created the QR code and did the flyers, for the recruitment, and really showed a lot of leadership with that. And I know in the past, you had expressed an interest in in having a leadership role. And as I've shared, thank you for the heart, I see that, Isa, too. And as I've shared in the past, to me, leadership is earned by demonstrating leadership. And to me, Isa, too, you really did that this past week. So I wanted to invite you, if you're interested in co-leading the business team for the next week with Tatiana, kind of the way that we've been doing, with a week trial, so to speak, and giving you a chance to show what you can do as co-leader of the business team, which you've almost been already anyways, but this allows you to, own it more, experience it more, and also be a part of our executive team meeting if you can, although I know you have a final or an exam this tonight, Isa, too. But I at least wanted to make the invitation. And again, I apologize for not talking with you about it first, Tatiana, or talking to you about it, Isa, too. But let me share it now while it's here and see, Isa, too, if you're interested in that, and see if everybody would like to go forward in that way.
Definitely, I am willing to give it a try again. So I can help Tatiana since James is not here. And we have been working, me and Tatiana, we have been working on some stuff together. So I feel like we make a great team. So yeah.
Great. Great. I really appreciate your interest and your willingness to dive right in that way. And I assume, Tatiana, that you welcome the support. Okay, great. Awesome. Awesome. Great. So Isa, too, I know you aren't going to be able to make the recruitment team meeting because of your exam. Would you be able to make the executive team meeting from 6 to 7:30 tonight, or not that one either?
My exam is for 3 hours long. So he gives us like this open window of 3 hours. And I start around 5. So that's my issue. That's why I was like, I would not be able to make it to the recruitment team because I know we start around. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, at least you can review the executive team meeting, and we'll add you to the executive team chat for this week, and you can start participating with the executive team, and you can review the video as quickly as you can, and, chime in on whatever we're working on. And we'll be able to, I see the thumbs up. Awesome. We'll be able to introduce you and share that in the full team meeting as well this Thursday. So that's great. Awesome. Okay, great. I'm glad we got that covered. I want to really acknowledge you and appreciate you for the work that you're doing. I think this is a great way. So awesome. Thank you, Isa, too. I really appreciate it. Let me give you one more hand from me. I appreciate it. Thank you for, what you're doing to take leadership. It's really great. So awesome. I'm going to let Tatiana take the lead in the meeting since she put together the agenda, but of course, Isa jump in wherever you want. And there's a few things I'm not sure if we're going to cover in the agenda, so I want to kind of go through the agenda as quickly as we can, and then other things that I might want to cover. I know you had in the end time for more stuff anyways, Tatiana. So I think let's just dive right in, let you take it away, get clear with who's taking the minutes, and dive right into the agenda. So thank you guys, and take it away, Tatiana.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so we already agreed to make the video public and make sure everyone's video is on gallery mode. And I will be taking the minutes for the meeting today, so that will be okay. And then
Thank you.
next thing I want, yeah, no problem. And then the next thing I want to know was an update on the handbook. I know we set a deadline for today. I was just wondering an update on that.
Yeah, thank you for following up on that and for following up on the deadline with that. Can I start sharing?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So first of all, I went into the handbook and saw in particular all the things that were in here for updates with the onboarding document. I have to be honest in saying I haven't really scrutinized this document in a while. Tatiana, I saw all the changes that you made on Friday, which I really appreciate, especially with updating the mail server and all those sorts of things. So thank you for all of those updates around all of that. What I ended up doing, because I wanted to leave this version to be able to see all the suggestions and everything, I started creating a new version where I started resolving all of the suggestions and that sort of thing. So I pretty much got almost all the way through the onboarding document. You mentioned, Tatiana, optional, but adding pictures could help to make things more clear. So you're saying diagrams of what people would see on the screen and that sort of thing, or what were you thinking there?
Yeah, because I remember when I was helping, Isa to set it up, for some reason she couldn't see where one of the menu buttons were. So I think having an option where you can visualize it would be easier, because sometimes, if you're thrown with a bunch of words, it's a little complicated to see. So maybe visuals would help.
I agree. So I think what we need to do is we need to put this on our business to-do list, because I think it's something we'd like to do, but I don't think it's all the way up on the priority list that it's going to get attention this week necessarily. So do we have a running to-do list? Because if not, let's start one now. And if we do, let's take a look at where that is and how we add this to it.
I don't think we have a list set in stone, but we can create one now, or then add stuff to it later on if we remember stuff.
Yeah, I think that I don't know if we ever, I can't remember where we ended up with the task tracker for the business team. That's the closest thing. And I know we haven't really been using that as a team. What are your guys' thoughts around the task tracker as the place to put that? And if not the task tracker, then where?
I think the task tracker was, is it just going to be a list of all the things we have to do, or?
Well, I think that was the idea, yes, is that we're making sure that we've got all of our tasks in one place and we can see what's been, hasn't started yet, what's in progress, what's been completed. So it seems like this is, essentially our to-do list with a little bit more detail, right? Would you guys say that? Or do you guys see it a different way?
I think we could start using it. I don't know if it's, it's just, it's a little more details, because then it's oh, it's more as this is more like what the task exactly is and tracking it, but like I feel like the list would be more planning, if that makes sense. But I think we can still use a business team task tracker.
Yeah, I don't want to necessarily tell you guys how to do it. I want to empower the business team to figure out what the best way of doing this is. So let's set aside making a decision at the moment. Let's start a to-do list. You want to start a separate to-do list, Tatiana, for the moment, and then we'll, at the end, we'll see whether we're going to combine it in the task tracker or keep them separate or what have you. You want to do that? You want to put that in the business team folder and share it into the chat here and add visuals to the onboarding to do as one of the items on our to-do list.
Yes, I can do that. Maybe not at this moment because I'm taking minutes, but I
Okay.
should do it like right after the meeting.
Okay, that's fine because again, maybe it'll get combined into what we're doing by the end of the meeting. Let me go back into the handbook. Okay, great. So I like that idea. I think that will be helpful. So Isa2, I saw that you suggested deleting this paragraph around creating the Slack account. So why did you want to delete that?
I made a mistake because I added in that paragraph.
I'm sorry, you added it in somewhere else? Is that what you said?
It was actually there. I made a mistake by saying deleted it.
Oh, you didn't want to delete it?
Yeah.
You're saying you did not want to delete it, Isa2?
Yes, I didn't want to delete it.
Okay, got it. So let's just
It's
cancel.
like
Oh, hey.
It was a Slack account that I needed to add in last week.
Okay, so is that the way it should be now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. Okay, great. And then a few last setup tasks. So Isa2, you said, please update communication policy to communicate with any team members. Please reach out to them via WhatsApp or VCP email. So where do you think we should put that, Isa2?
It was like under where it says please reach out to the business team in advance for any practical paperwork. I feel like that should have been put there in bold so that everybody knows that these are the channels we're using to communicate.
So I'm not sure I heard you, and I don't want to ask you to speak up louder. Did you hear all of that, Tatiana, to know what Isa2 said?
Not entirely.
Okay.
No, I said that if I feel like this should have been added under the please reach out to the business team in advance for any practicum paperwork, but in bold so that people, when they see it, understand that these are the channels that we're using to communicate.
Okay.
Like to put it right next to it, yeah, or under it.
Okay, so you're saying under please reach out to the business team to ask them to reach out via WhatsApp or VCP email?
Yes.
Okay, I think because other people on the team are not in the business team chat, they can't really reach out on the business team chat. So I think what we should say is please reach out via the business team at unitingforaction.com, right?
Yeah, but this was mainly for people who are texting us out of WhatsApp or like VCP email, somebody sending you a message through like regular message. So I wanted them to understand that this was, if you're talking to any team members, like I'm texting Tatiana, it is not okay for me to text her on her personal cell phone, but I can text her through WhatsApp or VCP email if it is about work.
Okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with reaching out to the business team about the practicum paperwork. You're just saying you think it should go down below this. It should be added in here as like another number or something like that.
Yes, for like a communication policy. Yeah.
Okay, so a new communication policy, that would be a number 9 is what you're saying. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, and I think that would actually be really effective when, because I remember with Maria with the scam that happened. So I guess this really emphasizes that we will only use those platforms. So yeah, I can see where she is coming from.
Okay, so always to communicate with team members, do not use personal phone texts or personal. That it? You can, so we can say you can call team members on the phone with prior agreement of both, something like that.
I also think maybe we should add Slack. Always use WhatsApp or Slack. Just, but you can add what you're already saying. But because if we start using Slack as a platform for messaging.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's leave it at that for now, and then thank you, Isotube, for clarifying that. Okay, great. So we'll go ahead and we'll update it some more. So to finish up the handbook and where we're at with that, this is as far as I've gotten with resolving all of the comments and everything. And there's still, as you guys know, quite a bit to go and quite a bit more that I want to cover. And you know, when we were talking about making the deadline today, you guys kind of got a sense that I wasn't sure whether we could hit that deadline today. It was kind of like a best case scenario, and we haven't gotten to the best case scenario. You guys probably know I've personally been a little overwhelmed the last couple of weeks with stuff. So I think, you know, I've looked at the calendar this morning as I was going through all of this and spending time on it. And I do think that 2 weeks from today is a target that I can hit, especially with me, you know, kind of working on it now in progress. So I want to go ahead and reset for that as our date to basically have the finished handbook and then be ready to present it and have people start signing it, you know, that week. So let's put down for 2 weeks from today as the deadline for that. I apologize for continuing to reschedule it, but I mean, you guys understand the balance that I've been trying to create. I think at this point, this is hopefully a doable deadline that we can meet, and then go ahead and really go forward with that. So any questions or any other comments about the handbook right now?
No, I think it's all set.
Okay, great. Great.
And then let me continue on with the agenda. So next I had an update on the project management. So this was something that we wanted to look at to see which software that would be best to use for the project. And me and IC2, we both created like we shared one document in a way, and then we looked at different ones. So I know when we were talking last meeting, we said we want Gantt charts. That would be a way to visualize the workload and how it's being measured out, task management, time tracking, and a possible calendar. So what I found was that there's a Team Gantt. There were a lot of pros to it, but I feel like it might have been a little too focused on just like looking at your tasks and not enough functionalities relating to project management and keeping your tasks organized or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was $20, but I wasn't too sure if it was exactly worth the price of it. But instead, I know for myself, I tended to like ClickUp, and I think Isa did too. And from my research, I found that it's best to create deadlines, and it's good for personal use, and a good way to track your time and make estimates. But I must say, all of the things here, they have the Gantt charts available, so it's just an option of how you would like to visually see it. And then, but the only thing is for ClickUp, they mentioned that there's a lot of features that it has, so it might be overwhelming. But a way to combat this was, if we have members join, we could create like tutorials that kind of show and demonstrate best ways to use this.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was generally my best idea. And next thing was Rike, kind of.
So just while we're on ClickUp, since you like
Yeah.
that best, the unlimited or the business, is that like a one-time or a monthly per person? What are those fees?
I can go back to it. So I think it was, there's like a team and you can have users. It said there were unlimited users, but it was kind of complicated.
Mm-hmm. So $5 per member per month, and business is $9 per member per month. Okay, got it.
And then it said something down here. So does adding guests to my workspace affect how I'm build? This part kind of confused me. So if you guys can work it out.
Okay, well, I'll go through the pricing if we decide that this is the one we like best. So let's keep looking at the different options and talk about the other ones you looked at, and then we can go.
Okay. And then there was Rike,
Mm-hmm.
which I also did mention this one last time. I guess one of the biggest pros is how accessible it is on different devices that they have. So I know ClickUp does have another device, but from what I heard, Rike has better accessibility. It's just easier use. And it's good with time management and selecting which priorities you want to do. But the only thing, it's kind of harder to customize each project that you want to do and make it more yours, because they have like different templates that you can use. And we could use the free version, but we would most likely use the $9 option. I forgot which one it was.
Okay.
And then another one was Forecast, which is just a really interesting AI feature. It can't be integrated with Slack, but I was just intrigued how they would use AI. This is just probably not something we would use, but I just found it interesting.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I'm curious to see how they use AI too.
And over here is Isatu's work, and I did kind of ask her to look up Rike and ClickUp and Zoho. So this is hers, and then she kind of found some pros and cons.
Okay, great. Isa, you want to share what you found with these? Thank you, Tatiana, for all of the review. That's really, really great. I really appreciate the detail, and I appreciate you looking into all of those systems in that much detail. It's really helpful. And also this video, clip, let's make a point to pull out this video clip. So these are the things we have to figure out as a team, like when we say, okay, like that segment where you just described the different software packages, I want to pull that out and I want to actually put that on the website as an example of the work that the business team is doing. And like each week we pull out these snippets that show people like this is what we're working on this week. This is what we're working on this week. And it shows people like we're evaluating these. That would allow somebody to, come in and say, hey, I saw that you're evaluating these different software. Actually, I've been using this other one, for 10 years and it's the best. And I can, set you guys up on, you know what I mean? So it gives us the ability to take what we're doing in the team meetings and then get support from the outside world, because we're pulling it into bite-sized pieces that can then be, viewed and all of that. So, okay, great. Isa too, can you please share? And thank you for you doing this work as well.
Yeah, sure. So me and Tatiana, we basically have like some of the same. But when I was doing my research for Bright, I found that these were the things that were the bulleted points were were things that they had, and which made them different from other platforms like ClickUp. So with Bright, we have discussions, like we can have discussions during like in the task options. So basically, if we were to tell, like, let's say Tatiana a task, we can have a discussion about it, and you could customize your reports. You could there's time tracking, which is something that we need and that we've been looking for in these platforms. And also people have been reporting it that it's a really simple their app is really simple to use. It's a drag and drop option. They have a drag and drop option to help us balance the workload for team members. And for ClickUp, we have same thing, drag and drop. There's a smart search, and also I saw that Tatiana wrote it on the first page that we needed. I think it's called a Gantt chart. I don't know how to say it. Yeah, one of those. So I see that ClickUp has it. So, and there's also an activity stream, so we see what's going on with each member and what tasks they're working on. Tatiana, do you mind scrolling down? Yeah. So I also looked up this one. It's called Zoho or Zoho. But people have reported not having an activity news feed, so it's really not helpful to us because we want to see what's going on. Also, it does not have an assignment management option, so I don't think we'll be able to like assign tasks to team members. Nor is there a daily report of who did what yesterday, or this is the amount of time they spent on the task. So yeah, and then or status tracking. So we will not be able to see what each member is doing and what tasks they're working on. We'll not be able to track it at all. So
Okay, so Zoho is not an option for us.
yeah.
So, okay, great. You can leave it there. But were you gonna put a line through it, or what were you going to do with it there?
Yeah, I was gonna put a line through it, but then I was like, it might be more complicated. I forgot what the function was, so I was just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
All right,
And
that's fine.
I remember for the ClickUp, we can also use it through different platforms. The projects can be sorted across different platforms.
Okay, great. So, and thank you for the references down there as well. That's really important. We want to have the references. So was that for both of you or just Isa too, or did you have references to Tatiana? I didn't see.
Oh, for me, I just tend to put them directly where I found it, just because so it's easy for me to access when I look through it. So I don't do like the references at the end. But they're pretty much,
they're all in there. That's fine. That's perfect. Okay, great. So so Isa too, did you come to a conclusion about which one you thought was the best?
I feel like ClickUp is the best at this point. Just because like there's more features that we need, and even though Rec has it, ClickUp is more popular. When I was reading some of these articles, it says that they've been reviewed the best. So to me, I feel like it's the best too, but I mean, we still need to do research about it. So.
Okay. And so Tatiana, you felt that ClickUp was the best as well?
yes, I did. think it had better functionality, just also better features, and it was easier to grasp. Even though it might be hard, but just the way it was conceptually laid out, I like the setup better.
Okay, good. And is it integrated into Slack as well?
Yeah, all of the ones that I looked at, every single one, they all have Gantt charts, they all have time tracking, and they're all integrated within Slack, except for one, but
Okay. And so this, we would, based on the conversation we had last week, this we would use in lieu of the workspace. We would not be using the workspace for this functionality. We would use this app instead.
okay, so I think, I'm not too sure completely, but I do know for sure that this can totally get rid of like Clockify or task tracking. That I know that can definitely get away. We can not use those anymore.
Mhm.
But I think for workspace, that's just still might need more looking into, because I don't know. I get a little confused with like workspace unless ISA 2 has a better understanding of it.
Okay. I understand what you're saying for now. ISA 2, is there something you want to add there regarding the Slack workspace functionality versus ClickUp?
So I checked out Slack before, but at this moment, after like reviewing ClickUp, I feel like this would be more easy for us to use,
Mhm.
just because it has more features. So I kind of feel like ClickUp. I'm kind of undecided, but I feel like ClickUp is actually better than Slack. So I don't
Okay.
know what Tatiana said, something about the workspace. So, but I feel like ClickUp is. I feel like she would agree with ClickUp too. So, I don't know.
It sounds like ClickUp is worth a try at least. Does it give us like a 30-day trial for us to all use it and make sure we like it before we start paying for it or something like that?
They have different plans, like the free forever. So I feel like we could definitely check that one out. And then if we want to have more features, like for like the unlimited order business, we can switch to that one. So
Okay. Actually, can you go up for a second, Tatiana? Can you click on the monthly option? Because we would be paying monthly rather than yearly. Yeah. So it's $19 per person per month. So it's a little bit different. Okay. So, all right. So we really need to make sure we want to be committed to this, because even with just 10 people on our team, that's already $190 per month. And then, as we're growing to 50 people on our team, that's going to be potentially $500 or $1,000 a month. So we really need to make sure that this is like the best long-term option. So, okay, I guess we'll just have to see. I hear what you're saying about the free forever. I just don't know. Do you guys know which of the tools that we would want to use are available in the free forever, and then which we would need the business version for?
It does come with oh, it says you're able to like do some management information. We can look at like how you do it, but the only thing is it doesn't have like Gantt charts, which is a better way to visualize your work. And it's in-app recording, but there is a native time tracking, so that could be helpful.
Okay, the Gantt charts are. So what's the difference in what we want between the unlimited and the business? Because I see where it says unlimited best for small teams, which is what we are pretty much. So what does the business version give us that the unlimited version doesn't?
Oh, the business. Okay. So for everything, you just, let's see. So there's an advanced tracking system right here, because everything is included within it. It like builds off each other.
Okay, so it's the
But yeah.
advanced time tracking. So maybe
I
some
think
of,
that's the biggest, yeah.
so maybe part of what we want for the time tracking is only available in the advanced time tracking. Okay. Okay, can you make a note of that, Tatiana, in the minutes in terms of like the specific potential difference, and then I'll look into, what the advanced time tracking looks like versus the regular time tracking. Sounds like maybe we should get started right away on the free version and maybe upgrade to the unlimited version pretty quickly, and maybe go towards the business version. But again, let's kind of make sure we got our feet under us with this one, because it seems like in the long term, it's going to be a rather significant investment of hundreds of dollars a month, right away, pretty much. So let's make sure we're on the right track with that. But it sounds like you guys have done the real work in the sorting it out. So I really appreciate that. And let's start, let's start making some decisions and moving forward with something. Because this week I really want to track, what people are doing in terms of the time and tracking time and all of that. So I think we'll circle back to that in the meeting. I think you guys have provided everything I'm looking for in terms of figuring out where to go with this. So thank you very much for taking the time on that. Let me give you guys a hand for really digging into that, going through it the way we need to really figure out what we're going to do as a team. Thank you both. That's really great. Okay, awesome. Please continue, Tatiana.
And then for the next thing that I had was just the idea of the team hours, which, like, how did it end up working and like sending out the message?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's actually look at our team hours and see how it worked. And the one thing you see there, I guess, before we look it up, is what I want to do. I saw that you sent the reminder on Friday, which is great, Isa too. So each time we send the reminder, let's send the link too, just to make it super easy, so people don't have to go to the drive and then kind of try to remember where the hours are and everything. And then also, and I see the thumbs up, that's great. So also, besides sending the link on Friday, let's also send a reminder Monday morning. Now, we talked about sending it on Friday to give people more notice than just sending it Monday morning. But I think we still need to send a reminder Monday morning as well. So you guys saw I sent a reminder around 10 a.m., but I'd like to have it like by 9:15. Like I send a message every Monday morning at 9 a.m. You guys might have noticed, just to get us started on the week. So Isato, if it's going to be you, if you're able to, and if you're not able to be available right at that time, let us know. But if between 9:05 and 9:15, somewhere in that 10-minute window, you can send the reminder to have it done by noon today with the link, then that would be great. That's the reminder I'd like to have sent on Monday morning. So does that work for you, Isato?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, great. So let's make sure that's in the minutes as well, Tatiana. And let's take a look. Let me take a look right now at where we ended up with the hours reporting. So it looks like we have about half, a little more than half of people who have reported their hours so far. So we're still missing Johnny and Mariana, Renasia, and Sabah. So I think Isato, after this meeting, I know we had said by 3 p.m. that you would send a reminder message. What do you guys think? Do we want to wait another couple hours to give people more time that are just being late, or should we send a message now, especially since we're having our business team meeting in the, right at this time now each Monday? What do you guys think in terms of, reminding Johnny, Mariana, Renasia, and Sabah about this?
I think we could send it sooner rather than later. And I think it was really effective when Isato had like the @ message, so that it brings attention that this is for who needs to complete it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I tend to think. So
okay, great. So Isato, would you be willing to add it to your schedule that immediately following this meeting, at 12:30 Eastern each Monday, you'll send that reminder message with the @ to those specific people that haven't done it yet?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, perfect, awesome. So Tatiana, if you could add that to the minutes as well. And then what we'll do, this is part of what we're gonna kind of keep talking about, is what we'll do is, make this a procedure in our business team procedures, right? So there's one person that sends a message with a reminder on Friday at noon, that sends a message with a reminder on Monday at 9:15 a.m. And then sends a follow-up message with those that haven't done it at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And then that's our procedure for getting our hours filled out. And then we have that documented. We have it in our handbook under our business team, so that next semester, whoever is going to fill that role has all of the step-by-step procedures for managing that. Sound good? Okay, any questions about that, Tatiana or Isa too? Nope.
Sounds good.
Okay, great, great. So I'm saying that because I'm getting more and more present to how quickly the semester is passing by, and I know that it's only going to be like 4 weeks from now is when Thanksgiving is going to be, right? And Thanksgiving is, after Thanksgiving kind of shifts things, right? People are almost getting into holiday mode and winding down with the semester and that sort of thing. Like, we need to actually have that that crossover between this semester and next semester students happening like in this next 4 weeks before Thanksgiving, basically, right? In order to have a smooth transition. So we're going to talk about that in the recruitment team today. I know both of you are in the recruitment team, so we'll talk about that. We'll focus on what we need to do on the recruitment side, but there's also, the awareness that we need to have on the business team side of what the business team needs to do to kind of help create this transition from this semester to the next semester with the handbook and these procedures and documenting things and all of these different things. So we're going to keep talking about it, week by week, and make it part of our conversation. I just wanted to start that conversation now, and let's keep going into the agenda, because I know we still have a few things more we want to cover today, but at least you can put that down in the minutes, Tatiana, and we can continue to talk about that going forward. So any questions or comments about that? Nope. Okay, great.
Okay, and the next thing I had for the agenda was just any new ideas or work to be shared. So.
Okay, great. Are there any thoughts that either of you have about that? Because again, there's still more I want to cover today, but are there any new ideas or work to be shared that you guys want to talk about?
Not particularly, but I am thinking that maybe it would be possible to go back to all, or like the minutes, and just pull out any key information that is regarding to like our procedures that we want to include, just putting it all in one area.
Absolutely. I think that's really great. And I think that you can put that down as on our to-do list, basically, as something for us to do, for sure. I think, can I start sharing now?
Yep.
Okay, great. So I think along those lines, that's essentially what I was doing this morning. Was I was going back through last week's minutes and looking at the things that there is for us to continue to address. So I want to make sure that each one of these things is getting added, to our to-do list and getting dealt with. So let's just go through, kind of line by line, and I'll show you the things that were kind of jumping out at me. So you guys went through this, which is great. Okay, so business team job is to track all the hours, calendar for forecasting. So again, you guys are looking at how to do that for the with these systems. And then when Jared is responsible for mid-semester check-ins and the administrative level, Saban needs to have a mid-semester check-in. And then, yes, so far, Katie has showed up also needing a check-in. I haven't heard from Cassidy about it, but I imagine she's going to need to as well from Colorado. So as you guys said, we need to add to the onboarding of where that goes. And then in terms of the paperwork, where it starts to get into it here, Gantt chart, you guys covered all of that. All of that is covered. There was some place in here that we were talking about creating the calendar for me of when anything needs to be done. So I'm not finding it in here now exactly. So I guess it's just this, when Jared is responsible for check-ins and all of that, to have a calendar. So that's where, this kind of calendar for forecasting. So are you guys seeing that as part of this software app, project management, or is it going to be like a Google Calendar that shows when, mid-semester check-ins are due, when evaluations are due, all of that sort of thing? Because I want to, again, start to have a calendar for that we can see. So I just want to see, is that getting covered by what the systems we've been talking about, or is that a different type of tracking we need to do?
So when I was looking at one of the reasons why I liked ClickUp was because they had, like, can I share my screen real quick? Because I was like looking, it was kind of hard to see like actual visual setups of how they would look. So I had to like go on different websites, and then one of the screenshots they showed was this calendar system that comes with ClickUp. So I really thought that this would be a way to, like we input a certain, we come up with certain deadlines that we want, and then that kind of align with other teams or just ideas. So maybe at the onboarding process, we put all these deadlines in, so then we'll be able to look at everything from like a calendar view.
Okay, got it. So we can have, if I'm understanding what I'm looking at here, so we can have this calendar that has these different layers on it, represented by the different colors. And we can have one layer that's kind of like a practicum paperwork layer, where we can see all of the deadlines for all the practicum paperwork and everything on the calendar at the same time if we want, and we can kind of turn that layer on and turn that layer off within the rest of the calendar and layers. Is that correct in what I'm looking at?
I think so. The only problem is I'm not sure which feature this is offered on, because it just showed me a video screenshot. So I would have to look back on the features again.
Okay. All right. I want to make sure. So let's put that on our to-do list, and let's make sure that we're managing that in terms of the practicum requirements, in terms of, again, when it's due, when someone is first joining and starting their practicum, what the due date is, that needs to get into our calendar. The midterm check-in, the final evaluation, any pieces that we need to know, when people are planning to wrap up their commitment to the project, that date needs to be in there for sure. We probably need to have like a reminder, maybe like 4 weeks before somebody is going to leave the project, for us to, work with them to set up all the things like the exit interview and testimonials and all the different things that we want to get done with them before they leave the project. So let's also see how we set up like a reminder for that, like 4 weeks before each person leaves. And again, let's make sure that each one of these things that I'm saying, makes it into the minutes, because that's where I want to make sure that as we're talking about all these details, they're getting put into, a follow-up method. So I think that's the biggest thing. I think we've covered everything. Let me just go back through the minutes again and see if there was anything else that I saw that I wanted to make sure we covered today. And you guys can do the same as I'm looking through this. You can think about anything else that either you see in here or that's coming to your mind about for us to cover now. Okay, so here we said, starting today, we're going to introduce tracking time to the executive team and use it for a week to test it out. So I think, are we going to now apply that for, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the name of what you just showed me. What's it called?
ClickUp.
ClickUp. So are we going to, as an executive team, start using ClickUp now this week, or what are your thoughts in terms of how we start testing? Because basically you guys are saying tracking time is not the system we want to use at this point. Is that a conclusion that
Yeah,
you're coming
because
to?
it would just kind of overlaps with
Okay,
like another management system that we do also need. So
got it. Okay, so then are you guys recommending that the executive team start using that this week, at least for like the free version for this week, and then we keep evaluating whether we want to, what it would look like to go forward with one of the paid versions?
I think it would be worth a try to create a ClickUp account and then see how that works within the executive team or business team.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
The thing that I want to get done this week, and you guys tell me how you want to implement it, whether it's going to be with ClickUp or what it's going to be. It's basically, it comes down to this. It's the business team job to be able to track all of these hours, reporting of hours, and how it relates to when you'll get done with the program. It's what I'm looking for right now in particular is reporting of hours of what people are working on. You know, what did, you know, last week was a little bit of a down week because we were kind of accommodating people's midterm schedules and we were taking a breather after the FDA the week before. But now this week, I really want to have us start to do what we were doing last week, which is like we did with each of you, you know, okay, so Tatiana, what is it that you're going to work on this week and how many hours are you going to put to it? And that sort of thing. And the same thing for ISA too. And actually, I think, and tell me what you guys think about this, and we can talk about it at the executive team meeting tonight, but I think I would like to have an actual daily reporting in the team chats by everyone on the team, where each day, at the end of the day, each team member puts into the chat where they say, let me pull it up. Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay, so basically, again, like, so let's use the business team as an example. So like at the end of today, like Tatiana and Isa, each of you would send into the chat, what I accomplished today was ... You know, what I'm planning to accomplish tomorrow is ... And that way we can, like, day by day, you know, everyone on the team know where we stand with all of the work that's being, you know, that's on our plate. And the reason I'm putting this in here, not so much, you know, from the business team, because you guys, you know, I see the work that you've put in during the week, but I think on some other teams, it's sometimes hard to see where the work has been put in by different people during the week. And we really need all to know, you know, like where all of these hours are going and how they're helping us build what we're building towards, right? So I think we also need to have some kind of reporting. And so maybe those people would say it along with a along with a message. Or I'm sorry, along with hours of what they like. I worked on this specific task for 30 minutes today, and here's what I created. And I'm planning to work on this specific task for, half hour tomorrow. And this is what, and this is what it's going to look like, something along those lines. Let me find, it's in, so a couple of different things. One, we have the research team where we set standards last week. You guys aren't in the research team, so you didn't necessarily see this, but we were asking people on the research team after 30 minutes to say what their results were after 30 minutes of doing each of these things to help kind of track our results in each of these areas, entering articles, pulling experts out of articles, and find contact information. So after 30 minutes, Katie had entered 9 articles, and then after another 30 minutes, she had pulled 18 experts out of the articles, and then after another 30 minutes, she had found contact information for 15. So that gives us some metrics of like, what we can do, within a half hour or an hour. Now we have Sabah's metrics. We get to see Alexis, Johnny, and Renasia. So we start to see, like, as a team, what can we accomplish, within a certain number of hours. And then the other thing that I wanted to take a look at, see, we're about to get done with our meeting here, so I'm going to wrap up. Hannah had started this, right before she left, which was, I don't think it's in here. Not sure where. I don't think it's in this document. No. So let me find it in the chat. Pause the recording for a second. I'm not sure how long this is going to take to find this. It might take a minute, but I think this. Okay, so let me go back and share since that wasn't being recorded. So here's what it is. So essentially, we want to have this level of detailed tracking where essentially following each team meeting, we want, all the hours that we have, anticipated for the week. So let's go back to it again. So we can look at, let's use business team as an example, since that's us. So we have 5 hours available this week, 2 from Isatu, 3 from Tatiana. So then, we go in here. Let's copy this to our business team so we can actually do it. And then we'll use it and then set a standard. Okay, so out of all that we've discussed today, you guys have certain things on your list of what to do. what your task is and what the anticipated hours are to add up for total hours of what we just said, 3 and 2 for each of you. Are you guys following me in terms of the logic of this and just taking the total number of hours we have, breaking it down into what our tasks are for the week, making that our anticipated tasks, our anticipated hours, and then somewhere along the way figuring out what we actually did and being it. And I want to start to make this the standard for every team. So every week, our team meeting is starting with this list, you know, and every night, as I was saying, every day, you know, we can say, hey, you know, I worked on this for 30 minutes today. Tomorrow I won't be working on anything, you know, type of thing. And then the next day, hey, I didn't work on anything today, and tomorrow for 30 minutes I'll be working on this. You guys getting it? So at this point, let's just at least fill in a couple of these. Let's at least fill in a couple of these so that we can see, you know, of what we covered today, what's on our list for what we need to cover, you know, today or this week. So Tatiana, for your 3 hours this week, what do you have at the moment, you know, on your list? And if you don't have 3 hours of work on your list, let's kind of figure out what to put on your list.
Let's see. I was gonna pull out some of the videos, but I think that's included in my minutes, so I probably won't include that. I kind of might want to go over ClickUp again and make sure I have a better understanding of the workspace. So that probably take 30 minutes. Just so I have I want to make sure everything is actually correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And then also, let's say how much time you're going to need for processing the minutes.
And processing minutes, I watched the whole video, so probably like an hour then. So I can make sure I pull out everything and make sure it's detailed, and then.
Yeah, by the way, you did a great job on the minutes last couple of weeks as I went through them. I wanted to let you know that, but I really appreciate it. I think you're doing a good model job of what we want the minutes to look like, so that's great.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure if it was like too much, but.
It's you know, you're getting very detailed, but we want it to be detailed so we can work off of it, and that's the thing that we just did, right? And I want us to do that more and more, and we haven't been really relying on that enough, and we need to, you know, start with the minutes from last week to then start, you know, building for today. That's kind of the mindset I want to start to get in. I feel like sometimes we do something during the week and then we go on the next week and we do other things, and sometimes we forget about what we had the week before. And I think we really need to be able to keep carrying through every week. So, all right, I'll let you, is there anything else that you have on your list at the moment before we have Isa to do this?
Not at the moment. I'm like drawing a blank right now, but
okay.
I'll
That's
think about
fine,
it.
because that gives us, you know, an hour and a half to work with, which is, you know, good. We want time to figure out what we can do with stuff. So Isa 2, anything right now on your list to do for this week with the business team with your 2 hours?
No, besides just reminding people on Friday, I don't have anything else this week, so.
Okay, so for the reminders, for those 2 reminders, can we say like, how many minutes do you need for that? For
like 10 minutes.
For all 3 reminders?
Well,
10
it's
minutes.
on different weeks, so one of them is on a Friday, and then the other one is like next week on Mondays.
No, but our weeks run from 6 p.m. on Monday to 6 p.m. on Monday. So all 3 of them would fall into the week before the 6 p.m. on Monday. But we can say, can we say like 15 minutes for all 3, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we don't necessarily have to keep adding to this now, but I want to work with you guys to fill this up during the week so that, you know, we're using our time for the team most effectively and efficiently. So why don't each of you, as you talk with each other, as you work on things, as we talk about things, why don't you figure out, oh, that's something I should add to this list? Did I share this? Let me share it. So think to yourself, oh, that's something that I should add to the list for this week. And then when you add something to the list, then go ahead and you know, send a message in the chat along with a link to this list and say, hey, everyone, I just added, you know, that I'm going to work on this thing. Does that sound like a good idea? Okay. And then what do you think about, what do you guys think about what I put, the first thing I put in the chat? Again, not that it applies as much to this team, but if you guys like the idea, we'll model it in this team to make sure it's working well, and then have, you know, everyone do it. And I think I'd like to ask all the teams to start doing it this week. You know, what I accomplished today was this, what I'm planning to accomplish tomorrow is this, and kind of have a, you know, it could almost be like a daily version of this, right? Like this is like the version for the week. And then we could have like a Monday version, a Tuesday, Wednesday. So people could actually come into this document and just say, you know, what I accomplished today was this, what I'm planning to accomplish tomorrow is this. What do you guys think about that? You guys like the idea of that? Do you think that's a good idea?
I'm a little iffy because it might be a little repetitive, but I'm a little iffy. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It could be repetitive, and it could be overlapping with our new system. But the challenge is, how do we know on a day-to-day basis what people on the team are doing and where they're at? That's the challenge that we have right now, is that, you know, we have potentially people, you know, working a certain number of hours, but we can't necessarily see what's been done with those hours each day. We have to have a reporting tool every day to be able to see what people did that day, right? Or on a particular day. So how do you guys think is the best way to manage that? If not the way that I'm describing, what way would you guys say to do it?
I think
Okay,
for now.
Okay, Isa2, we'll see you. Thank you. And then please help answer that question too, Isa2. Maybe you can share in the chat later. Yeah, go ahead, Tatiana.
I think as of right now, this could be a good system, but I know in the future, this kind of brings up the idea that we should really get a management system, because there's a possibility to do this and you can look at daily what each person's inputting. So for the time being, this could be a good enough system until then.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So let me keep pondering that, and perhaps we'll discuss it in the executive team meeting tonight to see what everyone thinks, and then see what we agree we should do with that. Okay. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yep.
So let me put that then on the list for me. So, well, it's really for all of us. Let me think about how we're going to say that.
You say like team, or yeah.
Something like that. Okay, and then I'll spend some time before our executive team meeting today working on that. Sound good?
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Okay, great. And then in the meantime, like we said, we'll figure out how to allocate the rest of the business team hours this week. So you and Isatu, kind of connect with each other about ways you think out of all the things we talked about that you guys should be using your hours this week. And then, and like you said, you can look back through past minutes and pull out things that, add it to the to-do list. I think also the to-do list, you can spend some time developing
Yeah.
the to-do list. Should we put that on the list?
Yes.
How much time should we give that?
I feel like it's because I'm so slow. So maybe 0.75. So like 45 minutes.
Okay. Okay, good. So, okay, good. And again, you'll kind of see where the overlap is between that and our new system and all of that, and figure out how to best manage it all. But I think that's the important thing, is we need to really just have a good system for the whole team to be able to add things to a list, allocate it in terms of who's going to do it and how long it's expected to take, and then actually seeing how long it took and what our results were, and just carrying the process the whole way through from concept to completion, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's the biggest thing. Okay, great. All right. Thank you, Tatiana, so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Isatu. Let's do one last round of applause for everybody on the team. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate you doing a great job. And let's keep it going.
Yay.
Go
Okay.
team. Yes. Yay. All right. Thank you,
Bye.
Tatiana. Have a great day. See you later.
You too.